Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is ArbieG and today we are taking part in Daily Race B, racing GT4 cars at Maggiore. So we're coming around now, looking at the qualifying lap, coming into turn 2. Nice tight hairpin, stay in second gear and try and get full throttle. I had to come off the throttle a little bit there as I come on the throttle a little bit early, so there's already time we could have gained. But this is the best lap I set in a practice session, probably sort of half an hour, 45-minute practice of trying a few different cars. I settled on the Audi as that was what seemed to be doing the better laps on the top 10 laps, and it seemed to work well for me as well. I tried the Viper, I tried the Aston before that, but this one was one I was getting the best times out of, so I went with the crowd. So I ran a little wide there on that turn, but didn't do too badly. Relatively surprising actually. This is best lap. I feel like definitely some more time that we can get out of this lap, but at the same time it's still a relatively fast lap in comparison to a lot I've done. So you can see there my best at the minute is a 206.9. Lovely bit of track there, flat out. This turn coming up, absolutely beautiful turn, especially when it comes to actually getting in races as well. Such a strategical corner, like depending on, you know, you can attack and defend both on the inside and the outside really. I mean, you can go a sort of a counter-attack strategy going on the outside if someone's coming to attack. Anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah, as we come round now to the last few turns of the track, you can see here I'm about sort of 0.4 of a second down from my best, so should be looking at a 206.5 if we can hold it all together. Do pretty well there as long as we're fully accelerating on the apex of that corner. It gives us a really nice run right down to here, where we can get a little bit late on the braking here, trail brake down to about 90, and then full throttle when it feels right to do so. Could have probably got on the accelerator a little earlier there, again a little bit more time could have gained, but let's see if we manage to nab that 206. So it's a 206.6, so not quite 206.5, but still the best lap I could run. So let's see where that puts us when we come into actually racing. So really happy with they've set this as a Daily Race B after the terrible week we had last week, absolutely destroying the DR. This isn't actually the first race that I run on this track. This is actually like the second race, but the first race was, you know, I finished in second place, but I literally started in second place and there was a huge gap and, you know, not really much to talk about. So this is actually the second race, so we've actually already moved up into C class, back into C class, which is good for us. Something that we've been looking for quite a while. As we get away to a rolling start, now in 4th position here, racing amongst some C-Class and D-Class races. So let's see if we can at least finish in the top 5 and make sure that we have a positive impact on the DR, because that's really why I'm taking part in the daily races this week. It was really nice to win the FIA race on a Saturday, my first win, but obviously being in D class meant my points were absolute crap, and obviously, you know, as much as it was really nice to win, it wasn't actually a fun race just doing 37 laps, you know, being about 20 to 30 seconds in front of people. You know, it's great for the result, but I'm much prefer just prefer having a fun race where I've got a few people to have a fight against, or at least like a bit of an edge that I've got to feel like there's pressure on me. As we now sit in 4th place, sandwiched here in between the Poland in front and the Spaniard behind us, as we now come through for this section here. Really nice section where you can go flat out. It is quite hard in the TT, or to do sometimes the TT, if you've sort of missed the second apex, you have to come off the accelerator in order to sort of make all the turns, but if you get that right, you can get through that section full throttle. As we come round now to our favourite turn of the track, really lovely banked right hand turn. Got no room to attack the guy in front, and looks like the guy behind maybe went for an attack there, but eased off as he realised he was too far away to make that work. As we again just sit in this little gap in between 3rd and 5th. Now we are but the filling to this post-Brexit European sandwich of the Poland and the Spaniard either side of us. Either way this could go, either finding a chance to attack the guy from Poland in front and see if we can pip a position and perhaps sort of pull away from these attacks that happen from the Spaniard from behind. Or you never know, the Spaniard might manage to squeeze up as we now come round and finish off the first lap. So it's a nice and short race this week. It's a 3-lap race. Probably feels like it should have been a 4-lap race, but for some reason they've said it is free, so it is what it is. So we've got nice short races. So we're not even going to do highlights, we're actually going to do entire races today. As we run a little wide there, but still manage to hold our places. We still sit really tightly in between these two individual cars, and I'm sort of, as I'm racing, I'm having to mix between attack and defence, as yeah, it's a really tight position to be in, but we seem to be holding it all right. As we now come round, it looks like we might have a good slipstream here. It looks like we're coming on the inside, might have an attack chance here, as we are on the inside and we get that inside line, but maybe might have pushed too far, and he might have, yeah, he's reclaimed his position. So we had to go there. Good job we didn't drop down any further, but we did get past him, but he was a bit more efficient on his braking and got a much more better line out, as you can see. So you now seem to be getting attacked from 5th from behind, so we've, you know, after that attack on 3rd, it's really lost our pace, and now it's give 5th a chance as he's got the slipstream and I was coming up to the banked right turn. He's gone for the inside line, I've gone for the outside line. Not much I can really do now because he's right alongside me, so I have to play this line. And I get the braking on, and let's see if we can make the turn nice and deep so I get the better exit speed. Maybe not deep enough, as he's got through and has protected his place there. So you can actually, like, I think you'll see it again in this video, where you can actually protect your position on the outside there, which is not many turns you can do if you're sort of a neck and neck, but you can get, if you can straight line it and make it so you're like accelerating well before the apex, you get such a fast exit speed that yeah, it makes it a way to actually be able to defend from an offensive position. As we now look like we're squeezing the gap back up on the Spaniard, and we want to reclaim our place up. So let's see if we can at least push back that up as we come into the last lap. I think now trying to push the third is going to be an unrealistic aim unless something happens in front of us. But let's see what we can do now as we now come round into turn 1. It looked like I was looking on the inside there. It's not. If I do my braking correctly on that turn, I wait until I get to my marker and I sort of turn the car towards the corner, then full brake, so I get like, I can set my brake marker further back because I'm sort of creating a further straight line into the entrance of the corner. Found that really managed to save some time on this track. As we sit behind now, still 4th position, not yet made an attack or found our opportunity to, but we're sitting quite nicely behind again if any mistakes happen, or if we just find ourselves just doing a bit of the section of the track a bit better, as we seem to do a bit better there. As I was talking about, we now sit right behind. Now we're going to get a little chance here. If we get a bit better braking, we might be able to claim a position. As he comes in and makes sure that we can't do that, and sits in here saying, no, now our next opportunity to overtake is going to be the banked right turn. So if we can keep up with him, we might have an opportunity to reclaim 4th, which will make it quite hard for him to overtake again before the end of the race if we can get this. So let's see if we can do the same move to him as he did to us, as we now reach to the inside, leave him on the outside. He can get better exit speed here, but if you can get this right, again, it's quite hard to reclaim this place. As we do cut corner there, but the track limits are really, really friendly there, and it looks like we've got in front and are holding the position. He's sitting behind us again in slipstream, but quite honestly, the rest of this track, unless you get to this turn here or before me, it can be quite hard to overtake from this point. As we now come round to the last few turns, and let's see if we can just hold our 4th place. And it would have been a good race, you know. Hadn't dropped places, haven't increased places. A positive for both the DR and the SR, which is ultimately what we're trying to get to. Get ourselves in a much better DR a position come round to next FIA race on Wednesday. So that's the ultimate aim here, because we want to make sure that we can maximise our point in the Nations Series, which we're doing a bit better in the Nations Cup than we are the manufacturers. So we finished there, and actually finishing 3rd, as you can see, some guys pulled up and just sitting there. Maybe someone on a secondary account, you know, the guy who was first didn't want to actually raise the DR, so just happy that they won the race and then just sit there and drop a few places before they go over the line. Maybe I assume. But I'm not going to complain. It counts as a 3rd place finish, and a clean race as well. So we've actually had a consecutive 3 clean races. So that's good as well. Positive positive SR days, looking much better than we were this time last week, where the SR got absolutely wrecked at Monza. Absolutely wrecked. But let's look at the second race for today. This is just going to be the last race, only doing the 2 races for today. And this time we have qualified in 3rd position, racing against a lot more C class races and a couple of D. So we're definitely pushing our way up the ladder. I much prefer this track. This track's much more fun to race on. Turn 1 is usually you get through unscathed. You know, rarely have any problems through turn 1, the first couple of turns on this track, especially on a rolling start, just because you know, it's not as not a turn you have to be as aggressive in, and also, you know, you get enough space in between each car just to get through those first few turns, providing you don't do anything really stupid. I mean, obviously, if someone's going to intentionally smash into you know, not much you can do to avoid that, because you've got to brake at some point. As we come through now in 3rd position and the race is away, and we just sit now, and just like I said, not really much overtaking opportunity these first few turns unless someone does a massive mistake. So first part of the race you just kind of just get through until you get to turn 5 really is the first overtaking opportunity after a long straight here, as we sit behind 2nd place in a nice position in his slipstream. Had to come off a little bit there because I didn't want to make contact with him, but are we going to make an attack on early on? As we go look on the inside, and we broke a little earlier than him, but he's broke far too late and he's missed his turn completely, and that allows us to move up. So, you know, didn't make any contact, but we were quite aggressive. We put a bit of pressure on him and forced him into an error, as we now sit in 2nd position. Maybe overbrake a little bit too much there, as you can see 3rd position's sat up on us now, sat in our slipstream through a really bad place for us. It means he's going to be in a really good place when we come round now to the long sweeping bank right turn. So what we're going to do there here in terms of defence, he's going to take the inside, so we're going to try the strategy again of the counter-attack of trying to get the much faster exit speed if we can turn a bit later. And you can see where I full accelerate really early, and he has to accelerate much later, and look, you can see I've got the speed on him. Are we going to be able to take this position? It all depends if we can get to this turn first. And you can see him slipping in the rearview mirror there. We've managed to overtake. That was a really nice overtake, and managed to reclaim 2nd position now, as we now come round through the last few laps of last few turns of lap 1. And yeah, he's still sitting behind us, the fellow bit with I assume his name is Rob as well, so a Rob versus a Rob from UK. But it's turned to be a really good fight here between me and him, as we get through there. And it looks like 1st position really has messed up, and we've actually got a chance to. He was miles in front of us, and we've actually moved up into 1st place. As now this guy's overtaken Rob, and has now got a 1 second penalty. So we need to worry about him in terms of not making contact, and maybe worried about him a little bit too much, which forces us to run wide. And now he's got the position in front of us, but we don't have to worry about him too much because he's going to come round to the penalty line, and we'll get back in front of him. So the race is still between me and the fellow Rob, who's now pushed in front of me and got a better line through there. So now he's going to slip through to 1st place once that penalty is served, and I just need to find an opportunity again to get past him as we come round now, which has been quite an exciting race so far. And 1st position has been blown out of nowhere. The guy who was in 1st was miles in front, as we actually go for the we go for the overtake there on the inside, and we actually managed to pip it. And are we going to hold it as we come through neck and neck? Looks like I'm just in front. It looks like I'm going to have the line through here, but again, he's going to be right behind me in the slipstream as we come round to that banked right-hand turn. So let's see how we again defend this one. We pulled off the risky move of sort of the counter-attacking defensive move last time. Are we going to try that again, or are we going to move perhaps to the inside and take the more conservative approach? As we look like we're just going to try and squeeze him on the outside. He looks like he's going on inside, but he looks like he doesn't have the space, and he's maybe messed up himself there and missed his opportunity to overtake. So it looks like we're going to hold position as we come round now to the last few turns. Been a really fun race so far. I'm having a really good fight here with the fellow Brit here in 2nd place, who's also running in the Audi. Really am enjoying racing in this Audi on this track. As we come round now to the last 3 turns of this lap, managed to hit that pretty well, trail braking in there, and just a light tap on the brakes there just to make sure you hit that apex, because you hit that apex means you can go full throttle from that point of the apex until you're at the bottom of this hill here, where you have to apply a sort of light brake and then trail brake down to about 90, as you can see we did there. Maybe chose the wrong gear, maybe should have stayed in fourth, maybe might have given him a bit more power for the turn, but it looks like we're holding the position now. Just trying to make sure he can't sit in our slipstream, moving about the track a little bit as we come through now. And again, miss our braking completely, overshot it. Maybe concentrate a little bit too much on what Rob's doing behind us, but hasn't managed to seize the opportunity to overtake. But he did give us, I think he gave us a little knock there. It's been a pretty clean race so far, so I really don't think it was intentional, and really didn't really impact the race that much anyway, and we still hold on to first position, but he is very close to being able to take this from us, and we just need to build a bit of a gap, especially when we come around to that banked right-hand turn again, because it is a real key overtaking opportunity as we now come round and see if we can just hold position. As again, he's looking really close, and he's going to have the slipstream range on us now as we come into the section of the lap where you can, you know, put your foot down and throttle through, providing you get your lines right, which looks like I may have to come off throttle slightly to make sure I can get through there and just come up this hill. He's still sitting in a really nice position here, so what are we going to do this time defensive wise? Are we going to take that inside line? Looks like we're going to go with the centre of the track and leave him to either make a really tight inside turn or a really sort of tight outside turn, and he's going to go on the inside. Are we going to get the more efficient braking? Maybe should have took the inside. It's going to be really hard to get the exit speed like we did last time because we weren't on the outside getting that really big dip, and he's taken that first position. It's going to be a challenge to take it back before the end of this race, but doesn't mean we can't give this a go, as now we're in a sandwich now with third place really squeezed up against us. Don't have to worry about him because he's got his penalty too much, but more worried about in case he knocks us or gives us a bump. As we look to the inside there, but it doesn't look like we had the space, so we give him a little knock there, little tap, probably going to have an impact on the safety rating there. Probably not the cleanest we've ever done, but these are just little taps that happen when you race. Nothing that impacts the outcome, so not my cleanest, but looks like we're going to struggle to get past them here, and it looks like it's going to be a second place finish, and what was overall was a really was an entertaining race. You know, can't help feel disappointed not to come away with the win, but at the same time, man, you know, qualified third, climb a position, have a good race, a good clean race, good fun, much better than last week, let's be honest, you know, of the carnage that was last week. And what was that, a third place finish, even though it was really a fourth, but let's you know, officially it was a third place finish, and this one was a second place finish, so a good day. And we did a few other races as well, and it's really had a really good impact on the DR there. You can see we've whizzed our way all the way back up now, pretty much back on track to where we were, making our push up to B class. Once we get to that ceiling of 10,000, we'll move up to B class, which will really start pushing up our points we can get in the FIA. Sportsmanship rating, you can see we actually, that last race there, a couple bits of contact, a bit of trading paint, just because me and that other a guy from the UK, you know, seemed to be pretty well matched in terms of race pace. You know, a bit of trading paint means we're gonna had a little bit of a dip on the SA, but nowhere near as bad of previous dips we've had, so a nice easy one that we'll be able to climb back. So that is it for today's racing. Really enjoyable to be taking part into these races. I'm going to probably try and see if I can push a little bit more before the FIA on Wednesday, but that's it for today's video. I've been me, you've been you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Alright, cheers, bye.